Testing from the Juanki speaker. Testing from the Juanki speaker. Good evening. We're at 30 seconds. Good evening. Uh, Welcome to Stories from NYC number two. I am joined here by Incredible Hulk. I have a selection that I picked up. It's called Do You Cuddle with Your Friends?
Shit.
Okay, here
I
we go.
wish I wish you would.
Let's just see what the poster uh, has to say. Okay, it says, yesterday I was catching up with a good friend from Chicago, and we were discussing dating, relationships, and other topics. I told him how my love and sex lives are going, and he told me about his. Then at some point, he mentioned that he enjoys cuddling and doing romantic things with his friends, but without crossing the platonic line, meaning he will court them, take them on dates, and cuddle with them, but he won't really kiss them or have sex or anything. He asked me if I do that as well, and I told him I don't because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. For me, a friendship is either has benefits or it doesn't. Parentheses, and I prefer to keep it really casual with FWBs. That's friends with benefits. End the parentheses. And that sounded too grave for my personal taste. I am, of course, affectionate with my friends. I will hug them and make physical contact when talking. However, I don't think I would do anything romantic if I'm not sexually invested in them as well. Different strokes for different folks. Side note, what a choice of words, right? Different strokes for different folks. However, I got curious and wanted to know if other gay men if other gay men have the habit of doing that, especially in this group where people complain about how dating is hard. Is that a way of getting some of your romantic needs met without ruining a friendship? Okay, Fashion Queen 96 replied, I will definitely cuddle with my friends, but I also fuck pretty much all my friends on a regular, so I'm not the best example of this. For me, sex is completely separate from romantic feelings and it's just about pleasure. But I also think it's time reasonable for you to not. Oh, I'm just reading. Side note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm reading how he wrote it, okay? But I also think it's time reasonable for you to not feel comfortable with your friends. It makes sense to me that they would be two absolute separate Okay, we have to skip this guy because he don't know what the fuck he writing. Let me go to the next one, just a second.
That was a hoe anyway.
Prestigious Chip says, absolutely. I think it really is a matter of preference and honestly communicating about what you want from the relationship, what you are willing to give, etc. I love sexual pleasure and I'm open to that with different partners, but I personally don't want to blur the lines with good friends. All right, let's read one last one and then I will let you go to sleep. I personally wouldn't do this. I'm affectionate with my friends and a pretty touchy feely person in general, but cuddling seems a bit romantic slash sexual. That's not a vibe I'm personally trying to cultivate with my friendships, as I don't usually have sex with friends. The exception would be a FWB, friends with benefits. But I find I'm not really great at the quote friend part of that relationship. To each their own, though. What do you think, listener? Do you cuddle with your friends? Babe, before me, were you cuddling with your friends?
Hell no, I don't cuddle with my friends. This
Okay.
is why I don't take a pill every day.
Okay. How does that correlate to medication?
Because that's why everybody has AIDS out here.
Oh my God, stop it. So if you walked into the room and you saw Naris 21 trying to cuddle with me,
Yeah, I think you guys will cuddle to the hospital together in the back of the ambulance. And then once you get to the hospital, I'm gonna come in the room and make sure you both die.
Wow. Okay. On that note, listener, why don't you type in and let us know what you think? Will you cuddle with your friends, Naris21? Will you cuddle with your friends, Miss Viewers of You? Let us know. And don't forget to subscribe and be back tomorrow as I am attempting to read you one of these every night
Who
before bed. All
who
right.
who cuddles with their friends?
Apparently, this poster did.
That's white people
I
shit.
I was just gonna say it's
That's
that's
crazy.
not a that's a non-melanated thing. Goodbye.